Kevin Collins with another raw file of the week edit from the Fro Knows photo.com forums. This is week number 14's photo, and I have seen everybody's edit of this, and I know up front that this photo has a problem with focus. I think the lens or the camera, or I guess the camera is the one who actually made the choice. The camera just hit the wrong spot with focusing, because it looks as though down here it's in focus, her hands are in focus, even halfway up the dress it's kind of focused, but once it starts to get into her face, it just loses sharpness. So it could be the lens was only gets tack sharp in the center. It could be that the photographer moved a little bit, the model moved a little bit, whatever. It's out of focus, and as Greg and Jared have said, there's really nothing that you can do to correct an out of focus picture, meaning getting the focus back. But we're going to try our best to get a decent picture out of it. So as usual, we're going to I don't know who the photographer is, even though the metadata says that it's Jared. I don't think he's the one who actually took this picture. So I don't know who the original photographer is. It's not my photo, it's just my edits. Let's get into it. Create a virtual copy and edit the copy. The first thing that I think is that I need to do to this picture is, I don't doubt that the sun is this warm on or in this picture, but I think it's still just a little on the yellowy orangey side for the white balance. So I want to use the picker and try and get something that tweaks it just ever so slightly down toward the blue, and brings out what I think are the truly natural colors of the scene. That may be a little much. I mean, we dropped it almost 1,000, almost 1,500 points there. So I'm going to bring it up to about 34, 35, something like that, 34. So I think this is more the true colors of what was actually out there when he took the picture. Going to do the contrast a little bit. Turn the general sharpening on, bump the clarity, bump the vibrance, and it looks to me like it's underexposed. So we'll bump the exposure just ever so slightly. And then what about a half a stop? Yeah, we'll go with a half a stop. Nope. And actually that contrast is a little much too. You start, at least to my eye, when you start bumping that contrast, it just exaggerates the out of focus deal. So we're just going to leave the contrast where it is. I did bump the clarity a little bit and the vibrance a little bit, and that helped a little bit with the focus, but like I said, there's nothing that's going to completely correct for it. Maybe a little noise reduction, just ever so little. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's about it. We'll do our general stuff in Photoshop, add the frame and resize it and stuff later on. But let's look at the before and the after. In my mind, I think it's a more natural photograph now. I think the white balance was just way off on this one. I bumped the exposure a little bit, tried to do a little bit with the contrast, and really didn't do a whole lot with it. Actually reset it, as a matter of fact. bump the clarity and the vibrance, and that's about as far as I think I'm gonna take it. Thanks again to the original photographer for sending it in, and you know, if there's a word that I can say to him or her, and to keep in the back of my mind as well as an amateur photographer, just remember what Jared said in his post or in his video. You know, when anything moves in the scene, you gotta recompose and you gotta refocus. You gotta relock that focus. She moves, he moves, the photographer moves, the wind blows. You know, all kinds of things affect the composition of the photograph, and something happened here to where the focus was just off. Now I don't know if it was because they were in manual mode and they twisted the focus ring a little bit, or if it was that they had the camera in automatic focus and it just picked on the wrong thing. I don't know, but you've always got to evaluate those things and take, you know, if you know that focus is what was off, you got to take another shot. As Greg said, in his mind, this is a reject photo, and you know, I don't know that it's a reject photo, but it's certainly not it's not a 5-star photo. It's one of those things that if that was the best picture of the bunch, you'd have to use it, I guess. But that's what digital cameras are all about. You can take and throw away millions of pictures in it, and it really not affect anything. So I've said my spiel. I've done my edits to the photo. I think I'm done with it, and until next time, we'll see you.